Let's turn now to the campaign for governor in Oregon, because we got this question from a viewer after last week's debate between the candidates. So Trish sent us an email asking us to follow up on this, and she wrote, Betsy Johnson was asked what she had to say about a recent appearance where a few of her supporters were clothing with the Confederate flag. She didn't condemn the wearing of it, but stated it highlights that we don't understand or are out of touch with rural Oregon. Okay, so this all goes back to last week when Oregon Public Broadcasting covered a Betsy Johnson campaign event in St. Helens. They noted that some people in the crowd were wearing Confederate flag shirts. Well, Tina Kotek's campaign jumped on that detail and sent out a press release the next day asking if Johnson would speak out against racist symbols at her rallies. So during the debate last Friday, a question came up about the Greater Idaho movement. That's where people in rural Oregon counties are campaigning to leave Oregon and join Idaho instead. The candidates were talking about tension between urban areas of Oregon and rural areas. And Betsy Johnson said that when Tina Kotek put out that press release about the Confederate flag shirts, well, it hurt the relationship between rural and urban Oregon.
She is suggesting that because someone was at one of my rallies with a Confederate flag, that rural Oregonians are racist and that you have to be racist to support my campaign. That is anything but the truth. That exacerbates the divide. I condemn racism, discrimination, and bigotry in any form, and somehow to imply that racists are attending my event just drives home the point that urban Oregon doesn't understand rural Oregon.
So she did publicly condemn racism itself, but she didn't specifically condemn the Confederate flag or the people wearing racist symbols at her events, which is what Kotek asked for in her press release. So during the debate, Kotek responded saying that her concern was about racist symbols in public spaces.
I'm not saying that people that attend your rallies are racist. I'm saying that when images like the Confederate flag are in public spaces, it keeps some and many Oregonians from wanting to feel included in that conversation. And I'm glad to hear that you would say that well, we'll talk about it later. But the issue there is making sure that when people go to work with people running for office, that they feel included. And a Confederate flag in communities is seen as a racist symbol, and it is not inclusive.
Christine Drazen, by the way, was asked if she had anything to say about this, and she was very much not interested.
Representative Drazen, do you want to jump into this? Okay.
So we reached out to Betsy Johnson's campaign to see if she had anything else to say about this whole thing, and they did. She told us, "This is ridiculous. As I said during the debate, I am against all forms of racism, and that includes the Confederate flag." An OPB reporter seeing one guy in a t-shirt at a rally doesn't say anything about everybody else who was there.